Hello and welcome to a little bookish weekend vlog we've got going on here. Yeah, a very rare situation. I am home completely alone by myself for the next 24, 48 hours or so. James is out of town with friends. Roman is off to his grandparents' house. And I literally have, today is Saturday, it's the middle of the day. I have from right now, 1 p.m. until tomorrow evening, completely by myself. So that said, I have a very bookish weekend planned. I wanna just try to relax. I feel like I've not taken time to just chill out, relax, have some time to myself for a while. I'll probably squeak a little bit of work in here or there. But really do a lot of reading. I'm hoping to get a lot of reading happening. One of my big focuses is Magnolia Parks. As you can see, yes, I did cave and I bought the UK covers. After talking so much trash, I did end up buying them. But what's interesting is that I actually had started Magnolia Parks at the end of last year. I had started it. I took it with me as my second book option on a trip, and I ended up really liking it. But I got sucked into the other book that I was reading, A Court of Silver Flames, of course, and I got sucked into that and gave all my focus into that and didn't read Magnolia Parks. But I knew I wanted to come back to it and give it its proper time, its proper moment here. By the way, I'm piled in on the couch here with the pugs, so we're just having a pug book day here. But yeah, I wanted to give Magnolia Parks its proper time and attention, so here we are. I mean, in an ideal world, I'm maybe finishing this book this weekend. That seems very optimistic. I don't know if that's gonna happen. You may have also seen a little shot of my book buffet I have in front of me. This is something that I've started to do where I just have a pile of books ready to kind of sample if I want a little break from Magnolia Parks. And I'll just sort of dip into these. I haven't started any of these. So I have What the River Knows, Happy Place, Maybe in Another Life, and my Kindle sort of ready in case I want to take a break from Magnolia Parks at all, which I also see potentially happening. We'll get to that in a second. I have found this idea of like the book buffet of just having a stack in front of me where I just read like a chapter of each book and I see kind of which one hooks me in the fastest or first, and then I kind of continue on with that as like my second book choice. Because at this current moment, I'm just reading Magnolia Parks. I'm also slowly reading Assassin's Blade, and then I'm reading Glint on my Kindle, which is the second Plated Prisoner book from that series, because I just finished reading Guild earlier in this month. That's kind of what's going on, but beyond that, beyond those books, Magnolia Parks is really like the only book that I'm actually like actively physically reading at this current moment. So I pulled some options just in case we want to hit the book buffet. I don't know if I'm actually going to, but that's what that pile is. Olive is tapping around over here. You want to come sit up here, baby girl? There she is. My thoughts on Magnolia Parks thus far is interesting. What's keeping me in this book is the writing style. I really like the way that it's written. By the way, this is a rare occurrence because she is normally all about James, and James isn't here. So she's like, guess I'll hang with mom then. That's why she's here. Initial thoughts and checking in on Magnolia Parks here. I am 92 pages in, so I'm definitely in it to win it here. Can I help you? Boo-boo. Boo-boo. Can I help you? So I'm 92 pages in, 93 pages in. The thing that has my attention with this book is the writing style. I really like Jessa Hastings' vibe, the way she describes certain things. It's just kind of interesting. That's what has me sucked into this. Thus far, it's one of those books where a lot of stuff happens, but also nothing happens at the same time. It's a lot of just like snippets of happenings of things that are going on. And between our two main characters, BJ and Magnolia, quite the toxic couple slash non-couple you've ever seen. A lot of people describe this book or compare this book to being like a Gossip Girl kind of vibe. I would agree with that 5,000%. You've got very wealthy socialite kids in London, or kids, the young adults, they're young adults, right? They're 20-somethings. You've got rich 20-somethings, socialites, influencers, and it's all about the things that happen, the drama, relationship, history, whatever, between this friend group and specifically between BJ and Magnolia, which is the main sort of couple in this book. The writing style is what has my attention, and that's what had my attention previously, and why I kind of wanted to give it its proper moment here of like not getting distracted by other books and trying to read as much of it in one sitting as I could. That's all I can really speak to, I think, at this point. I will say, beyond the writing style, I see why people either love this book or series rather, or they absolutely hate it. Thus far, it's definitely a lot of vibes and toxic relationship drama, and like two people who are insanely obsessed with one another in the most toxic way humanly possible is basically what's going on here. So look, I'm entertained and I'm gonna keep reading it. I said I was out to make this a Magnolia Parks weekend, so I'm trying to have a Magnolia Parks weekend. I'm gonna keep reading this. I'll hit the book buffet as I need it. I do have an Alani over here I was about to crack open for myself. I can tell you I will be ordering sushi later as we venture into books, okay? But yeah, that's what's going on. I will do my best to keep you updated while we read all of the things. And again, have a bookish little weekend. Well, this reading vlog has taken a very unexpected turn. I went from thinking I was gonna have a whole weekend to myself to getting a call from my parents, and Roman is not feeling well. So now my kid is on his way back and I'll be taking care of a sick kid for the weekend. There goes my plans and dreams of having a big bookish weekend. I am still continuing to read Magnolia Parks. I will probably keep reading it tonight. I'm approaching the halfway mark, kind of. I'm definitely getting into it more now. It just, now that I'm getting to know kind of the other side characters and the general like vibe of the book, in that it's, again, a lot of stuff happens, but of little significance, and it's a lot of like conversations and little happenings that happen at like restaurants and things around town, like clubs and this and that. Once you kind of get into the vibe and you start to get to know the side characters, there's definitely a couple of side characters that have piqued my interest. Christian and Daisy in particular, and I think they are the characters in like the second book of the series, because it alternates between the two. Like book 1 is Magnolia and BJ, book 2 I think is Daisy, and I'm assuming Christian, or Daisy for sure, because it's Daisy Haites. And then book 3 comes back to BJ and Magnolia, and then book 4 is back to Daisy. So like it alternates between the different characters. So I'm definitely intrigued by some side characters there. So like, I'm glad I have book 2, basically is what I'm getting at, because I definitely want to read it. But this book is a lot of just vibes, and some things are happening now in it that I think is making it a bit more interesting. Like I definitely feel more invested than I did in the beginning, outside of just liking the author's writing style. So I'm digging the vibe, I'm here for it, and I will try to make time to read it. Do ignore the rug that is back here that is actually for my dining room. I'm in the process of decorating and painting. Anywho, wow, let's talk about Magnolia Parks. I did finish it. I read this book in about 2 days, which is crazy, and I don't know if I really want to admit that or not. So much to say about this book. First of all, my weekend did end up redeeming itself a little bit. My kiddo ended up feeling fine the next day, and Grandma and Grandpa wanted him again, so I dropped him back off, came back here, and I had the day, literally from like 12:30 to like 4, I took that time to just read. I literally put a blanket out in my backyard. I was sunbathing out with the pugs and read Magnolia Parks. And that's how I was able to do it in 2 days, is that I had just lots of uninterrupted time. And I told myself it was gonna be a Magnolia Parks weekend, and boy was it, boy was it. How do I process this? I don't even know how to process this. Okay, needless to say, I did get sucked into this. I got sucked into this bad, okay? Pretty bad. It follows our two main characters, BJ and Magnolia, the most toxic couple you have ever met. These are 20-somethings, socialites, incredibly wealthy, romping around in London. Their days are like boozy brunches, going out to clubs. It's like Gossip Girl in London. If you do not like Gossip Girl, if you do not like toxic, catty relationships amongst a 20-something friend group, this is not the book for you, people. Not the book for you. This book is borderline trash, okay? It's borderline absolute trash. There was actually, when I was going back in and I was marking it as read on Goodreads, I saw that someone was like, this book is like a bag of Doritos. You kind of can't stop reading it like a Dorito. And you know, it's like, even just with Doritos, it's not the best chip option in the world, right? But you just kind of mindlessly eat it anyways. That's how this book was. I got very sucked in. You can tell that I annotated it. I did tab it up quite a bit here, and I was making notes as I went along, because it's incredibly quote-worthy. The lyrical sort of writing to this is really, I think, what sort of gets you into a trance. It's incredibly quotable, very fun to annotate. Magnolia herself is a borderline very unlikable character, but she's so self-aware about how she is and how unlikable she is, or lovable by all the boys. There's some interesting relationship tangles that kind of go through this, and you just get sucked into the drama. You get sucked into the drama. As toxic as BJ and Magnolia are, their love for one another is unlike any other book relationship I have seen or read before, which was very entertaining. Again, Jessa Hastings' writing style is very intoxicating. I think that's the word I'm looking for. It's like very intoxicating. I just kept picking up this book and I kept thinking about it, even knowing that it's just mindless drama. This book is also just such a vibe, and it really fit for like the weekend of like the sun was shining and I just was laying out, you know, drinking iced coffee and reading Magnolia Parks. Like, it fit the vibe. Like, it fit the vibe. I think on Goodreads initially, I rated it a 4. That was like my initial gut reaction. But I keep thinking about this book. I keep thinking about it, which is insane to me. And so I feel like that rating may change. It may change the more I sit on this to be closer to a 5, because it is kind of giving me that vibe. I don't know. But it was very fun and very easy to binge, very easy to binge. That said, now that we have finished Magnolia Parks, I think it's time to move into Daisy Haites, which I'm very excited about. I'm very excited about. I think Daisy is going to be a vastly different character from what little bit we saw of her in Magnolia Parks. So I'm really curious to kind of compare the two and see what her world is all about, which I think is going to be rather feisty. I think the boy that's going to be in here, Christian, I really liked him a lot in this book. I'm assuming he's in here. I don't know yet. I'm definitely intrigued to see what this one's all about and where this goes. So join me on this journey as we embark now on Daisy Haites. This is my favorite cover of all of the covers, by the way. It's giving 1990s Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes. Is that not the vibe that this book is giving? This is my favorite cover of all the covers. Yes, and I know I originally said that I hated these covers, but now I'm all about them. I regret nothing. Okay, so that said, I'm ready to plunge into Daisy Haites now. I'm really excited. Oh, also, Magnolia Parks leaves on quite the cliffhanger there. Like, the ending of this is kind of like, oh boy, where to now? Needless to say, I will be ordering the rest of the books from Waterstones so that I have the matching covers for everything. I will be ordering the remaining books. And as I said, the way that this sort of series goes, if you're unfamiliar, it's Magnolia Parks, Daisy, then there's another Magnolia Parks book, a Daisy book, and then another Magnolia Parks book. So it kind of alternates between those. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I hate to admit that I liked this as much as I did. It was just so fun. It was just so fun. So yeah, here we go, Daisy Haites. we'll see how this goes. Gosh, I love this cover. And I probably will be annotating it. I did pick out some Post-it notes for it last night to try to match the cover a little bit there, so. All right, the Magnolia Parks universe. It's a fun one. I'm hopping in really quick. I haven't really even started Daisy Haites yet. I've only just barely cracked into it. And I had to put it down because I was like, I need to work today. Like, it is a Monday. It is a work day. I cannot be reading during the day. That is my nighttime activity. However, I'm sitting here working and I keep thinking about this damn book. I keep thinking about this book. I mean, like, I don't know what it is. It's just got me. It's just got me. And I'm realizing, I think the thing that I keep thinking about is, one, all the characters. Like, it's a very character-driven book. And I think that's why I was having a hard time explaining, like, what even happens in this, in that a lot happens, but also nothing happens at the same time because it is very character driven. I feel so invested and like, I really want to know what happens. Like it ends on quite a cliffhanger. And I also just want to know what's going on with some of the other characters, which I know I'm going to get that in this, but I just keep obsessing about this book. So much so where like in the middle of the day, I keep like picking it up and like flipping to little sections, like rereading parts of it. That said, I'm coming back and I'm changing my rating. I'm changing my rating because if I'm this obsessed with a book and I keep coming back and thinking about it and picking it up, I think this is a 5-star read for me. I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe I'm saying this. And I just want to say again, I think this book falls into, you either love it and you are obsessed with it, or you absolutely hate it and it's not for you. Like, I think there's just two camps and that's how it is. Honestly, I'm kind of getting borderline obsessed about this though. And it's distracting me from my work day. So I wanted to just pop in and say that. That's the latest. That's my update. I'm becoming obsessed. I'm becoming a Magnolia Parks person and I didn't think it had it in me. Just a Hastings. As I said, the writing is incredibly intoxicating and it gets ya. It gets ya. Hello, I'm coming to you, with Dante. You gonna fit in here, pal? You wedging in? You making it work? Hello, coming to you from my book nook here with Mr. Dante and my dining room rug. I've been reading Daisy Haites and oh my God, I am officially obsessed with this series. I have allowed myself to fully get sucked in, really enjoy it, and like I kind of get the hype. I did want to say, I think when it comes to these books, you're either gonna absolutely love them or you're gonna absolutely hate them. I think there's two camps with this, and I might have mentioned that earlier, but now the farther in I go, I really do think that's the case here, okay? Although this second book has more plot to it, there's definitely more like actual storylines going on here. It is very character driven, young 20-somethings, relationship, friendship, drama is all it is. But it's done so well. And the thing that I'm realizing is how incredible and wonderful and heartbreaking and amazing these books are interwoven together. Let me explain. When I was reading Magnolia Parks, I kept saying, man, this book is a vibe. It's like a vibe. I can't describe it. I can't put it down. It's a vibe. Like nothing's happening, but also a lot is happening. I don't know. I'm sucked in, right? What happens is that the Magnolia Parks books are from Magnolia and BJ's perspectives. These Daisy books are from Daisy, Christian, and Julian's perspective. So they're from other characters. But the events happen at the same time, okay? So the timeline is concurrent. What is interesting is that there will be a scene that will happen in this book that you'll see from Magnolia's perspective, and then you'll experience it in a different character's perspective here. And even though it's the same scene, it just hits so different and it's crazy. I never thought that I would be interested in reading books like this, and I've never read anything like it. I think that's the other big draw to this. I've never read books like this before, and it's very entertaining and engaging, and I'm very sucked in. Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example of how these books are kind of like interwoven together. There was a scene in this book, and I'm gonna say it really vague so that there's no spoilers. I'm not gonna get into spoiler territory on this. There's a scene in this book where two characters sort of share a glance across the table, right? They're not together, but they both are recalling like a memory in their mind, right? And in this book, you get it from Magnolia's perspective. She does her best to kind of just like brush the whole thing off because her, you know, the guy that she's really obsessed with is sitting right next to her, her ex-boyfriend, BJ, who is the main guy in this book. You know, she dusts it off and gives her attention to BJ, and that's that. But you know, it's like something's going on there. You're like, that's interesting, okay. But you kind of keep going on with the book and other stuff happens and it is what it is. But then that same scene happens here in this book, but now you're getting it from the other character's perspective, and you're getting it from Christian's perspective, sitting on the other side of the table. And he recalls the memory, and what it is what triggers the memory is that they both hear a song in a restaurant, and that's what they both hear the song and they look at each other, and that's what kind of triggers the memory. So in this book, not only do you get like his perspective of the memory, and like both heartbreaking and beautiful and like adorable and like, oh, like I actually was like, oh my God. But you also get the song. And so I was like last night, like as soon as I saw like he said what the song was, I put it on Spotify, and I'm like reading the scene with the music, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God. It just made me love that character so much. And I think that's, and even just that like moment of reading that scene and like listening to the song and like feeling the vibe. And then I also made a realization of like, wow, I feel like I really know this character really well, even though I just was getting him in this first book and not even from his perspective. And now I'm getting it from his perspective, and it's like, wow, I really know these people. Like, these are real people. And I think that just goes to show how flushed out the characters are in this and how character driven these books are. It is all about the characters. It's like found family, best friends, complicated relationships, complicated friendships, romances, back history, all sorts of crazy stuff. But I am here for it. I am here for it 110%. As I'm reading Daisy Haites, I've forced myself to slow down a little bit. I read Magnolia Parks in 2 days, as you saw, but I'm forcing myself to slow down with this one and savor it a little bit more, because now I'm kind of wishing I had done that with this. As binge-worthy as these are, I'm now seeing the other side of certain things that have happened in this, and I'm like, dang, why do I already want to go back and reread this? Like, who am I? Who am I? I can also see a reread of this series is probably going to be bonkers, because the author does this incredible thing where she'll tell a story or a memory, or a character will say something, and somehow you don't get all the information in that one thing, but then book 2 or later on you get all the information and it's like explosive. It's explosive, or it's like, oh my God, or heartbreaking or whatever, and it's wild. And that's what makes the cliffhanger on this as good as it is, and why I kind of want to get through this as quickly as possible, because I want to get to the 3rd book already, because I need to know where this goes. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this series way more than I thought I would. I'm allowing myself to cave. We're here and we love it. But yeah, I'm on page 123 now in Daisy Haites, so I'm not that far, but I'm really trying to savor this and enjoy this as much as possible. And we'll see how things go. Hello from my reimagined book nook. This area over here has gone through many a transformation, many a transformations. I keep moving things around and changing things, but I think things are where they need to be for right now. Anywho, that's coming in a separate video of me arranging all of this stuff. I did, however, wanted to wrap up this Magnolia Parks Daisy Haites reading vlog because I did finish Daisy Haites. Also, if you didn't notice, I picked up the other copies with the fancy covers. So I do in fact have the other ones on the shelf ready to go. I love how they look. I'm excited to delve into the other ones. As you can see, I was annotating this copy. I was annotating Magnolia Parks. I did enjoy this book. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I liked that there were 3 different character perspectives going on. That was a lot of fun. Okay, so you're following Daisy, Julian, and Christian are the 3 POVs that you get in this book. And it was really fun to bounce between those 3 characters to kind of get their different takes on things. Even though you relive some of the scenes that happen in Magnolia Parks in this book, it's still just as entertaining. I don't know how, it's just really well done. There's just something really mindlessly entertaining about these books, and I just don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. These books are a vibe. I would say that these feel more like contemporary fiction books than they do, let's say, romance books. Like, there's zero spice in these books and lots of toxicity and drama, but it is somehow very entertaining. And I think that's because of Jessa Hastings' writing style. It's unlike anything I've seen before. And even the format of these books, like how when this book takes place during the first one and it's different POVs, somehow it's just done really well, and I think it's really entertaining. And again, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. I cannot recommend this series to everybody. I'll say that right now. I cannot recommend it to everybody. I think if you like it, you're gonna like it right away. That's kind of what happened with me when I started reading Magnolia Parks. I knew I was gonna like it, and that's why I kind of stopped reading the other cover that I had and switched gears to like fully give these books their proper attention. Magnolia Parks I read in 2 days. I read Daisy Haites in about a week. It took me a little bit longer to get through this one. I have learned that people that are fans of these series, they're either Magnolia girlies or they're Daisy girlies, and I have found that I think I am more of a Magnolia Parks girly. I found her POV and dialogue and storyline a little bit more entertaining than Daisy's, which is interesting because there's far more plot going on in this one. Way more plot happening in this one here, where you're really getting the inside look into a family crime organization of sorts. And Julian, who is sort of the leader of his family's gang crime group, you know, one of the things they do is they steal artwork. And that was really fun to read. It was fun to see Julian's dialogue and his descriptions of famous works of art, and to have that little element in there was really fun. Getting to know Christian a little bit more in this book was a lot of fun. Daisy, I have very mixed feelings about. I don't know if I'm the biggest Daisy fan. I found her a tad annoying at times. I'm more of a Magnolia gal if I had to pick, and frankly, I'm really looking forward to getting into book 3. The Long Way Home, because book 1 did leave on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I'm excited to give that a go. This also leaves on a bit of a cliffhanger, so I see how you get roped into these and you want to keep reading them. After reading Daisy Haites, I think I want to give this, I feel like this is a 4-star book for me. If my true, like, real rating is probably like a 3.75, whereas Magnolia Parks for me, I think, was a 5-star book. I had to sit on it for a little bit, but looking back on it, and especially reliving certain moments in this book, that really felt like a 5-star in comparison to this for me. Again, some people really like Daisy and don't like Magnolia, and vice versa. I think I'm just a Magnolia BJ kind of gal. But there you have it. So I'm just gonna round up and say it was a 4. Look, it was entertaining enough that all of my other books went by the wayside for me to finish this one. So I'm very much looking forward to starting book 3. Let me know if you want a reading vlog of the other books in this series, because I'm in the middle of reading like 5 other things that I need to finish up first before I delve into that. So you guys let me know in the comments down below if you want me to keep vlogging my experience reading this series. Man, Magnolia Parks, this book was really fun. This book was really, and I already want to reread this. I already want to review this, which is really sad, but there you have it. That was my Magnolia Parks and Daisy Haites reading vlog. I hope you guys have enjoyed following along as I delve into this series here. Again, let me know down below if you want to see me read the other books in the series. I've got them. I've got them. If you made it this far, put a bumblebee. If you've made it this far, let's put a little bee, a little honeybee in the comments down below. That is a reference to Magnolia or a laundry related thing. If you're a daisy gal, or if you would prefer that emoji instead. Something Daisy and Magnolia related. So a bee and some sort of laundry emoji down below. Otherwise, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you liked it, subscribe. I put out a new video every week, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.